Grown Black Folks Talk, Escape Velocity Practicalities, How to Play Well with Others. Okay, so we've talked about making sure you're going to a safe circle, making sure you're safe for the circle. We talked about passive and investment income, an overview, and then specific types, and then why long term it really does make a difference. Now, understand. I told you a story about my grandfather and how he bought this house his family is still living in. Understand that the circle of people that he was in originally did not understand. And here's the thing about it, the conversation that you are used to having in the circle you're trying to escape from, the habits, and all the rest. So, a lot of the videos that I've done over the past month is about getting away from regressive, irresponsible people, people who are essentially not safe for progress. But I also said in the video I did this week that you also have to do the process of becoming safe, of doing healing, therapy, life coaching, so that you can be safe in more dynamic circles. And so you are safe to that circle. Because what happens is more that, okay, let me back up a little bit. Okay. Once you learn about three types of income, understand that you have separated yourself not just from the bulk of Black people, but from the bulk of people in American society. We all went to, I was homeschooled, but still, the curriculum that we had still mostly focused on learning from the point of view that we were going to get a job someday. It still did not talk about creation of self-made income. It kind of held that up as an ideal, but no instruction was given. So even homeschooled, I still got a much better education than would have been available in the public schools of the time period. But in that respect, the emphasis was still the same. And if you went to public school, chances are, no matter where you're listening to me, the emphasis was the same because the system that we live under is kind of modeled on a German design from the 1870s and 80s. And the person that put together this design was not someone who was interested in the freedom of the people around him. It's a gentleman named Bismarck. And his idea about schooling was that it had two designs to produce good workers, good soldiers, because he felt that Germany was being left out of the race for empire that the rest of Europe had already had its go rounds on. France had had its empire, England had definitely had its empire, and Germany was going to catch up. And there is a direct line from Bismarck's line of education to Germans who were highly intelligent people being broken down to the point, well, I think you know where we're going, a particular Führer being elected in 1933, and the world having to go on the adventure that Nazi Germany would put the world on. Of course, that adventure is called World War II. That's the kind of education that people become people who do not ask many questions, follow orders, and not think and do for themselves anymore. That type of education is very popular for nations that are interested in empire. And the United States of America, in its own quiet way, it has been just as interested as any other nation of its type in the world, in a Eurocentric world. The world did not become Eurocentric by accident. This was done. And the Anglo-Saxon way of doing things, and the Angles and the Saxons were from Germany, a third of the world favors this kind of education for those not in the ruling classes. So you're not supposed to know how to find a way to earn enough living for yourself without keeping the system going. Which brings me to how most of us have been trained to think. There are two things going on. There are zero-sum game thinkers, which is my relationship with you is to suck up every ounce of value that you have for myself, and maybe I will give you subsistence or maybe I will eliminate you. In the United States, it's easy to understand this. My Black relatives were slaves who were enslaved, correction, they were not slaves, they were people falsely and wrongly enslaved, that's important, who were forced to labor in a system that killed them off 7 years into adulthood on average, 13 generations down. And of course, my native relatives were simply eliminated so their land could be taken over. Zero-sum game, easy understanding, succeeded by what's in it for me relationships. Now, if we didn't have what's in it for me relationships, the world would cease to go round. The paid economy depends on the idea that we're going to show up for work for a predefined package of benefits, including pay, hopefully some medical benefits, things like that. But the idea is I will do work for you, or I will offer you opportunity based on what's in it for me. There's nothing wrong with that one per se, except as it comes to the point that people will not do anything for anybody else unless they see that there's a profit motive for them. Both of these mindsets come from people who conquered the world out of a position of scarcity. If you live in a part of the world, if you grew up in a part of the world where winter can last 8 to 9 months, you're always going to be thinking, no matter how much it is, it may not be enough, because that's just what you have to deal with. Now, in talking about how European civilization was shaped by this, the person to listen to would be Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. I cannot cover that in any detail here, but Dr. Frances Cress Welsing certainly can. I would recommend her if you as a Black person, or you as anybody listening wants to go into that a little more. But in a scarcity mindset, the idea that there is scarcity, the idea that there may not be enough to go around, that there isn't enough to go around, the ideas of zero sum become very attractive to people powerful enough to think they can pull it off. And also, what's in it for me becomes paramount, meaning that things that need to be done because of the human values go right down. Now, let's leave the Europeans alone. This is grown Black folks talk. If you grew up in a neighborhood that was impoverished, you have been conditioned for the zero sum game and the what's in it for me mindset. These do not make for powerful collaborative mindsets. When you have to play well for others in the circles to which you are going, you will have to adjust your mindset, because the circles in which you're going are circles that are more involved in how can we come together to create opportunities to benefit both of us. Now, there is an intermediate place. I said create, not find. What I'm teaching you to do in this series is to find opportunities more than anything else. Opportunities that exist that you can find. We didn't create DistroKid so we can get our songs onto Apple Music tomorrow. Well, maybe a couple days from now. We didn't create that. So right now, what we're trying to do to escape velocity for us is to change our situation by finding opportunities that are available to us. The next step up, and the circles in which you will find yourself largely at the beginning, will be, okay, the universe is full of abundance. It is. The world is full of abundance. It is mismanaged, but it is there. And so there will always be opportunities. So that's the first step out. But next, you get into opportunities where, okay, how do we think differently? How do we come together to create opportunities for each other? Somebody reached out to me on YouTube talking about a statement that I made could make a beautiful shirt. And so we're going to create an opportunity to create a shirt that other people can have. So that's not an opportunity that was available to be found. That was created. See the difference? How can we come together to create opportunity for each other? The next step up, how can we come together to create opportunity not only for each other, but also the community around us? And the next step up, for those of you who are Christians, how do we find a way to come together to create opportunity for people to live on the right side of eternity? This is a whole different mindset than the zero sum games and the what's in it for me from a lot of the environments we want to escape. And if you are going to be able to play well with others in the circles to which you are going, the first adjustment is you have to be someone who knows how to find and act on opportunities. All these things that I've told you about, escape velocity practicalities, all the resources that I'm putting in these descriptions so you can find them. These are not there for ornaments. If you're going to be in a more dynamic circle, you have to be acting on these opportunities. Acting on opportunities changes your life. A lot of you on the Themis and Thoth show who are here now are sitting up here looking at me because you wanted to have more, to listen to me more, to hear more of what I had to say, to be encouraged, to be pointed in a more positive direction. So you created, by doing that, an opportunity for me to go and reboot my YouTube page because I haven't paid a lot of attention to it over the past several years. Okay, so since that was in front of me, I could have sat there and hemmed and hawed. No, but here's what you have to learn how to do. To be qualified to be in a circle where people find opportunities, you have to find and you have to act. And here we are. And here we all are. So I'm not talking about something that I'm not having to practice in my own life. In my work life, I'm working together with others to create opportunities to hopefully give people a full ride, young people in the community, full rides. So we are trying to create opportunity. So I work in circles of finding opportunity and I work in circles of creating opportunity. And this is where the question properly is asked, what do you bring to the table? These are not opportunities. These are not circles where you can come and just, it's like, this is not where you can come to the cookout with an appetite and be accepted. This ain't it. Circles like this will put you out because you're dead weight. This is where you have to come with at least the mindset to get into situations like this, to escape into circles that are like this. You have to at least come with the mindset that if you don't have a lot yet, you're here. If you can learn and you can grow and you can act on information that you receive from the new circle and people see you doing it, you will be allowed to stay. The right mindset. If you slip back into the scarcity mindset, if you slip immediately back into what's in it for me, and please don't try to do zero sum, these kind of circles will put you out. The worst thing is to have had a chance in a better life, have a chance to be in a better group of people, and get thrown back. However, because the world does have abundance, you may get a second chance if you're young enough. But I suggest you not do that because time is kind of short. I can't say that with any hard proof how short or how long it is, but the economy is changing. Artificial intelligence is going to take a lot of jobs. So if all you know is earned income, you're about to have a really hard time in the United States and the world right now. Technology is changing. A lot more is going to be done by AI that does not even recognize the Black face as a human face because when they began programming it, they did not program us in. So your ability to access things being used by computers that are lagging on even seeing you as human, time is short. It is very important that you really take to heart a lot of things you've heard from a lot of different corners. I will put, again, we're going to put resources on mindset. I'm going to put the coaching link down again for mymentor.life. I'll put in some videos that I have found valuable in getting the right kind of mindset. It is important that since you are finding this opportunity, that you take hold of it and act on some of the things you are finding. And if none of these things fit you exactly, then you begin to really go search to go in the right direction. It is important that you get into the right circles now. The permanent underclass is not a joke. Now, some people don't like the term. It's not heavy permanent. The thing is, it's still possible if you remember this knowledge to climb out at some point. But here's the thing, the longer you wait, the harder it is. And it takes time. It takes time to change your mindset. It takes time to learn about other forms of income, etc., etc., etc. The time to start is always now. Being able to find opportunity in the company of other people fits you to be ready to be in a circle to create opportunities with other people. One more thing. It is good to be strong and independent. Doesn't really matter who you are. You need to be able to do that. That's called adulting. But another part of adulting is to learn how to be interdependent with others, to be able to develop trust. And this is why I'm putting resources in the chat again for therapy and life coaching. Because trust is hard if you grow up in an environment where people treated you in a zero sum or what's in it for me manner and overlooked your humanity both times. And that is a lot of our experience. It's a lot of our experience. But beginning to work on yourself And while you do the work on yourself, you learn about passive income. While you do the work on yourself, you research things and places that you'd rather be than where you are if you really need to move, or you look at situations that you'd rather be away from where you are. You don't have to physically move all the time. But as you do these things, take action. Begin the process of receiving information. Take baby steps. It's not necessary to run out in all these directions. The most practical thing for you to do what you understand to do and start. Start. And this fits you to be able to be in a circle of people and to play well with people who are on the same journey that you are. All right. I do have some additional practicalities, but they don't really fit in this video. This is long enough. Thank you for your time and for watching. Goodbye.